How many on here can tell me where I'm at right now? I made me a little trip this morning. I'm out on an adventure. And lo and behold, who you think I got here now today? The one, the only, the infamous JimmyJohn Hunley. Here he is, right here. Oh boy. How you doing, JimmyJohn?
Man, I'm wide open like always.
I hear that. Came by to see you for a little project I got going on, and I'm excited about that. But been wanting to get a hold of you, get up with you, sit down, talk with you.
Nice to have you here.
I'm-
Always welcome.
I know everybody
Like
on here, you know, if a boat question comes up, we got to talk to JimmyJohn, because I tell you what, your memory is, I can't believe the memory you got.
I know it, but it's not always that. Most time, if I don't know, I know who to ask. That's stronger than my memory. I go back and reach out to the other people that I know, which they're getting scarcer.
Right.
Okay, Lil Ray, Freddie Jr., Puddin', Richard Moen, them boys got memories too. And if I don't know, I can find out, then I end up with the credit. But it ain't always in my head. I know how to find out. And I got some other sources too, but
Right.
don't give me too much credit for my memory, because Tracy will tell you that. I don't know what day it is that time.
Well, we lean on you a whole lot, and I can tell you we appreciate it.
I'm into it, that's for sure. Always have been.
Yeah, because y'all know I started this capture the history, you know, and you've always got the history.
Well,
You can tell the story.
I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Have been ever since I was a little boy.
So you grew up in Matthews.
New Point, yeah.
Tell
And
me.
then Davis Creek, when it was strong, well, it was probably 60, 70 boats crab dredging in New Point when I was riding a bicycle down there, help them unload after school.
Yeah.
You know, ride the school bus down the road and see how many, if the captains were home, you knew the fleet was in. You hoped that Homer Smith's truck wasn't in the yard, because that meant everybody was in, and you hoped they were still out so you could get down the creek before they came in and stuff like that.
Right.
Franklin, you'd look going down the road on the school bus and hope everybody was still out. Hurry up, get on the bicycle and pedal down to Everett's. And my mama would say, be home before dark. She knew I wasn't getting home before dark. That wasn't happening. And they were good days.
Absolutely.
They were good days. And there was like 25 boats at Everett owns his dock at one time. But no crab. Tractor trailers, 3 bars. And that was a place to be, you know.
Yeah.
Johnny Ward was in there back in them days. And
Right.
Robert Rowland and E.G. E.G. was on the Ruby Crustal.
Oh, boy.
And young people too, you know, the old guys now were young back then, because it was 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The people that are old now were young then and up and comers.
That's it. I know it.
Big deal.
So, when did you start working on the water yourself?
I got my crab pot license when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
And back then, if you had $35, you went up to the VMRC office and you were a crabber. That's all it took. There wasn't no, we call it delayed entry and limits on license. If you had $35, you bought a crab pot license.
Right.
My first one, when I was 11, they put a little article in the Gazette Journal, was the youngest person in Virginia to ever have a crab pot license.
Wow. I hear that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, you know,
My father passed away when I was 11, and my 6th grade class, instead of getting flowers from me, for my father passing away, they bought me 6 crab pots and gave to him.
yeah.
And my mama bought me a oatmeal motor, put on a skiff, and I was a crabber that summer.
Wow.
And the last thing my daddy said before he died was, don't let him be a crabber. And that's the first thing I did. And then I crabbed up until I was 28, steady, and then I went to a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And still dabbling in it, but
Right.
dabbling's getting weaker all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
We went hardcore there for a while. I think we sold everything. And then about 2010, me and Puddin went bought 400 pots and started all over again.
yeah.
From scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back into it wide open, and now we're both pretty much out of it. This is the first summer that him and I, neither one set a crab pot.
Right.
Yep. First summer since I was 11 years old.
Well, you made the Jordan Lynn famous, I can tell you that.
She was a pretty little boat, that's for sure.
I know it. Everybody,
I loved her. She hated me, but I loved her. There was always something.
we was all shocked when you let her go, but yeah, I'm glad you got Little Wheel too.
Yeah,
That's a
I
nice
didn't stay
boat.
with it long. Well, that's Braden's, but
Yeah.
I take care of it a lot. But I
Right.
didn't stay with it long, because here we are back again, starting over again.
Yep. That's it. I know y'all have seen this. Willard Norris boat, but he's working on her. He gets every chance he gets. He comes out here, but he's gonna have her coming along.
I've worked on everything but the boat since he's been here.
He's trying to build her and a shop. He got a nice shop here, y'all.
Building gold.
So, but he's got it going on up here. It's beautiful where you at. Plenty of space out here. You know, it ain't all cramped up somewhere. Plenty of room to work.
Glad to be here.
This is great.
Fortunate to have what little we got.
Mm-hmm. So what about tugboating? I mean,
Been good to me. I love it. Got a good crew.
when did you start tugboating?
Let's see, 2000.
Okay.
2000.
Right.
Me and Puddin were crabbing down Hampton in the fall, and his brother was tugboat captain.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother met us at Hooters for lunch. And he said, boy, if you ever get tired of crabbing and want to go tugboating, give me a call. And I laughed at him. I said, yeah, if I ain't. And that was a winter from hell. And just had a tough winter crab dredging. And long about February, I called him, and I started in March.
Yeah.
And worked for him for 3 or 4 years, and went to Bang Brothers.
Right.
I love it. I really do.
Well,
Nowhere but New York the last 5 years. But basically, I've been just about every port on the East Coast, and like the Gulf, but every port on the East Coast except Savannah. It's the only port I haven't been in,
mm-hmm.
and that's going on 22 years now. So.
Wow. Well, that's great.
And I love it. A nice boat, good crew.
Yeah.
I had an all Matthews crew there for a little while, and now I got what I got now. 3 out of 5 Matthews boys on there now.
Well,
I had 5 out of 5 for a little while.
Matthews has been strong in that industry.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Through the years? Oh, my goodness.
My father said he could go to any port in the world and say he was from Matthews, and they recognized that fact.
Yeah.
And he was deep sea. Now with tugboating, it's almost the same way. We went in Fort Lauderdale one time, and I got on the radio and got talking, and the man said, "Where are you from, Matthews County?" And I said, "What?" He said, "You sound like you're from Matthews County." I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "You know David Owens?" And who was over when he asked me about? I know he asked me about David Owens.
You're right.
He knew just hearing me talking. He was from Matthews.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
I'm very proud of that.
Absolutely.
You know, I live in Deltaville.
Right. Oh, boy.
But that's good, right? Workboat, wooden boat capital, so that's all right too.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure is. That's what I claim. But I know some people try to argue that, but
Oh, there certainly was at one time. Them houses down Lower Lane still. Everyone's got a boat shed in the backyard. Just ain't no boats anymore.
that's what I'm gonna say. You know, back in the day, they were lined up down Jackson Creek. Yeah, everybody.
They called it the wooden boat capital of the Chesapeake Bay one time, and now they changed it to the boat capital. And I'm sure they can't compete with Annapolis and some of them places, but it's a boat place, that's for sure.
Well, when I talk about boat, I'm talking about a dead rise anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
At one time, it was undisputable, but now there's not any. Well, hardly.
Right.
4 or 5 watermen.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad John and them, Deltaville Maritime Museum, I'm glad they're still building skiffs and all, man. I think that's great.
He's a fine gentleman, and he's done a pile of work. That is a nice place.
I tell everybody they need to go in there and see the tool shop they set up and all that. I mean, they did a great job.
Clamps. We talked a little while about who had the most clamps. You know how many clamps they got?
Yeah.
They're building a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Fine gentleman. He stopped by here last week and spoke to me.
Yeah. Y'all gonna get a crew together, come to Pocosa in September?
We're going to try to. That's a long ways in that little boat.
All right.
But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
See how it goes. There's nothing else will come in the truck. That's a long trip. The weather's got to be just right.
Right.
Fall, we're going to try.
Well, truck, boat, whatever, make sure you come on down there.
It's hard to keep us away. I'm pretty sure I'm off.
Right. Well, I ain't gonna tell you. Look, he's busy. He's building cabin doors and desks and everything. I mean, he's got it going on. I even came here throwing a project on him.
Making noise.
Well, we really enjoyed being able to speak with you. You know.
Stop by, buddy.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time.
Got your sack bags?
Yeah, that's right. Been looking for some clam bags. He done hooked me up.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate all y'all watching as we've been doing this live, and hope y'all have a great weekend. It's Friday afternoon, weekend coming up. Go out there and get you some salt water, get you some of that fresh salt air. All right, thank you.